Well, good afternoon. This is the Information Diva, Deborah Thorne, and welcome to Let's Talk Leverage with the Information Diva. Want to start off by defining leverage. We define leverage as networking plus collaboration equals opportunity, and that's leverage. We get together regularly as a part of the Let's Talk Leverage conference for speakers, authors, and entrepreneurs. And we just discussed how do we leverage the things that we do. Today, I have a special guest. And as you guys know, I always say, oh, this is someone that I really like, but I really do like Coach Chris. This is one of my good friends. And I'm glad to have him here. So, Chris, so glad to have you with us today.
Thank you, Diva. It's great to be here. Great to see you again. And we always have a good time. I think that's
We
probably part of it.
absolutely do. So I'm going to start, you guys, so that I don't mess up. I'm going to read his bio and then we can get in and start talking. Okay, so Coach Chris says, I am a small to medium sales and business coach, mostly for the home services industry. I have written a book called The Red Chair Experience: Daily Inspiration for Success in Life and Business. I am inspired to contribute to what other people find inspiring so that they may be fulfilled. Yay, Coach Chris! And I'm so excited about your book. This is being recorded on a Wednesday, you guys, and Wednesday is the day that we dedicate to authors. There you go. Hold that book up. Yes. And so before we get all the way into the book, Chris, want you to tell the audience, because as you know, my thing is everybody should write at least one book. Tell us how your journey was. Why did you decide to write a book?
Oof. The short and condensed version is I'd always wanted to write a book and I wasn't sure about what. And there were a couple of deaths that happened in my family. My stepdad, who was my mentor, died in 16. My younger brother died in 19. And I got the opportunity to become the owner of this chair, this red leather chair. It's a recliner. And those were the two previous owners. And the pandemic hit literally 6 months after my brother died. And so now it's like, what are you doing? And a buddy of mine sends me a meme and it says, if you're not bettering yourself, doing something to improve your life, working on your side hustle, then you're wasting time during this pandemic. And I thought, well, this is it. This is the chance. And so that happened in May of 20. And I started writing the book. And that's what really kind of nudged me over the edge, if you will, to make the move and start doing that.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I think it's really important. One of the things that I really talk to clients about is everybody needs to be telling their story. We all, history is going
Mhm.
to be told by the person who wrote the book. And so I really encourage people to get on that journey. So, what was the journey like? Tell us, because there are ups and downs. What was it like?
Well, so the book it's a daily meditation inspiration. It's designed to be read every single day, and it's a 3 to 5 minute read. And the journey was just that. I took every day and I wrote 1 or 2 or 3 entries a day, and some days were better than others. Right? Some days I couldn't stop the words, and other days I couldn't come up with any words. Right? I mean, it was just one of those things. And I remember thinking, okay, I'm 100 pages in, right? I'm 100 entries in. I'm like, okay, this is going well. And then all of a sudden it was like I hit a brick wall. And then I remember the 180 mark thinking, okay, I'm halfway. And then I'm about 2/3 in and I'm going, I gotta finish this book. I need to get this thing done. And so it's much like you said, it's much like our life, right? We have these ups and downs. We have these moments in our life that just inspiration hits you and it almost knocks you over, right? I mean, it's like a train. It literally was like a train sometimes. And it's like I just couldn't type fast enough. And so it was great process. It really was. It was a lot of fun, really interesting. And when you read this and you hear the words, see the words, read the words, you're going to see a very different side of Coach Chris that you've never seen or you may have never have heard of. And it's very vulnerable and it's very, there's some business stuff in there, but the bulk of it really it's a good chunk about just my journey, my personal journey, and what's gone on over the years.
Wow. And you know what? I am like so glad that we're having this conversation because, I've been one of those people praying in the background about your book getting out, but I truly didn't understand about the red chair. Okay, so it's learning something new, and it's like, oh my goodness, let me get my copy of the book. And he has signed copies, you guys, so you want to be sure you get a signed copy of the book.
Make sure it has
Um,
the little sticker on it. That's right.
Yeah, I saw the red chair, and for whatever reason, I believe that the red chair had something to do with business, and there's a
Hmm.
purpose to the red chair and all that. But it's more of a piece that all of us can relate to. I love that. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. My
Yeah.
goodness.
The thing about it is the red chair is personal to me, but I call it the red chair experience because it is. It's about an experience that you have. Whether your chair is red or your chair is brown or blue or pink, it doesn't matter, right? What matters, and it doesn't even have to be a chair. That's the other piece of this. So I've been doing clubhouses and things like that where I talk about the chair, and it's more about the experience than anything else. It's a place. It really is a place, and that's what the red chair is to me. It's a place. That red chair may get replaced someday, right? And it may get replaced with something else or another location or something along those lines, right? Some people love to go to the mountains. Some people love to go to the ocean. Some people love to go by their favorite stream of water. That's your red chair experience, right? And that's really what
Okay.
I'm looking for to encourage people to do is, like you said, everybody has a story to tell. I just want them to tell it in this place.
Wow. I'm like really like blown away. Definitely want to support you. You're a good buddy and all of that. But I guess I just really had no idea what the book was about. So now I'm even more excited because it is speaking to our audience like I want to speak to them. Everybody has these things. Everybody, as you said, has a red chair experience. It looks a little different for each person, but we so need to be telling our stories, especially in a time like this where the pandemic, I think, caught us all off guard. And there have been some things we've really learned. Speaking of that, what is the one thing that you think you've really learned from the pandemic?
Hmm. Um, I think I've thought about this over time. And one of the books that I read prior to writing my book was a book called The Surrender Experiment by Mickey Singer.
Okay.
And he did a really good job of talking about how to surrender to things that come into your life. And during the pandemic, I really got to see that and put that into practice, right? And just surrendering to things and going, you know what? It's not in my control. And so guess what I get to do? I get to sit here patiently without judgment, without attitude, right? Without any kind of emotion personally, right? Because there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I
Yes.
can do about the fact that I'm in my house and I can't leave my house, right? And I mean, I can go out. I'm not that crazy, but at the same time, right? I'm thinking about others, and now we're more mindful, right? And we're thoughtful, and those are some of the things that really kind of came out. But the biggest thing really was to learn how to surrender to the things that were going on around me and to the experience, right? To be there, to be present, and to accept the things that come into my life.
Wow. Yeah. I know for me, it was, the world just slowed down and, just
Yeah.
take it because I am that person who's been in their house for 2 years, basically, just leaving for very sparse things.
Mhm.
And, just was a different way of doing things and learning from it. And for me, it'll never go back to the way it was.
No,
Yeah. No,
no,
there are
it's
people who say, I can't wait to get out. And I'm like, it's not going to be out like you thought, because
mm-mm.
if nothing else, I've learned that I can get so many things accomplished from my house. Why would I leave? Okay. So, yes. Oh, my goodness. So what do I want to ask? I just, I like really want to just sit here and talk to my friend, but I want to include the
We
other
have really
people.
good conversations that way, by
I
the way.
know, and so I'm trying to say, like stay focused, Deb, because the audience doesn't know you and Chris like that. But I want them to get to know us, and I want them to understand. So you are Coach Chris. tell us about your coaching business a little bit. And then we're going to go back to the book, but I'm
That's fine.
trying to help people get to know you like I know you so they can love you like I love you. Go
Well,
ahead.
I appreciate it. I get to help small to medium business owners who are self-managing sales and shouldn't be. That's the reality, and that's the simple, if you will, one sentence version. But I work specifically with the home services, so plumbing, electrical, HVAC, heating and air conditioning, right? And I work with roofers and that kind of stuff too. But I work with those businesses and really the small end because the mom and pops really need the help. And there are certain things, I've been doing this for over 18 years. And so I know what it's like to run a small business and 17 employees and making sure that you can make the payroll and all that kind of stuff. Even though we were owned by a larger company, it's hey, you still got to make the numbers, right? You still got to make the the money that goes out to the employees and to everything else that's going on. So I understand that. And because of that, I want to help out people like that. So I want to contribute. That's you read my why statement. My why is I'm inspired to help people do what inspires them so that they may be fulfilled. And the key there is that they're doing things that inspire them so that they can be fulfilled. Right. And I was talking to somebody the other day, just we're not doing business yet, but he's like, I'm working on it. I know I need to do this. And I said, I had somebody else and I said, I'm a serial perfectionist by nature. And
Okay.
I tend to want to have everything, all my ducks in a row, right? Everything's got to be lined up just right. And I said, the problem with that is it's oh gosh, it's a great movie line actually from the Music Man. If
Okay.
you have enough tomorrow, you set aside enough tomorrows, or you set aside enough todays, you're left with nothing but empty tomorrows. And I'm paraphrasing that, but
Hmm.
yeah, what a great story, what a great little segment, right? That was in that movie. That if we just keep pushing things off and pushing things off, I said to him, I said, it really is important that you make a decision to move forward, because if you don't move forward, you're sitting there waiting to move forward, and you can't move forward until you move forward, right? So it's
Yes.
it's just trying to help people understand that, right? Because a lot of times we're afraid to take that first step, and so
Yes.
that's the
You know,
key.
and I remind people that perfect, excuse me, done is better than perfect any day. That we
Absolutely.
get started, that we do it, that we make it happen. And as entrepreneurs, because as you know, this is dedicated to speakers, authors, and entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
we're all many times looking for it to be perfect. And the reality is, it's never going to be perfect. You're
Never.
only going to do your best that day, whatever that looks like. And so, we do the best we can. We're going to go back and talk about the book again. But before we do that, for the
Mhm.
people who've kind of been with us, tell us how they get a copy of your book. That's
So,
important.
well, there's two ways right now. One is go to Amazon, and you can get it from Amazon, and you just look up the Red Chair Experience by Chris Michelle, and you'll be able to find it. The other is you can go to theredchairexperience.com, and it's only available for people in the United States, because I found out very quickly shipping it internationally is super expensive, and you don't want to do that. Um, but seriously, if you go to theredchairexperience.com, you can get an autographed, you can order your autographed copy there, and I will get that out to you ASAP.
I know, and see, he won't say it, but I'll say it. Order it directly from him, you guys. Amazon takes enough of everybody's money, okay?
Well, it
He
is
can't
more
say
expensive
that.
on Amazon. It is more
Oh,
expensive on Amazon, but if when you do the math, it's about the same. It is about the same. It
okay.
is. It is. But buy it for me.
But buy it from him.
But buy it for me.
Actually,
Get
that's
a
how
signed
I'm going to
copy.
do mine because I want an autographed copy, especially
Mhm.
now that I understand what the book is about. I'm like so excited. It's like I was going to buy the book anyway to support my friend, okay? But
Yeah.
I just had this belief that it was all about sales
About
and
business and
yes,
sales and yeah.
yeah, yes. Okay. I love the inspiration part. That is important to me. And saying that, what inspires you?
Oof. Boy, what inspires me?
Hmm.
Obviously, my family, and I love spending time with my family. And in a couple weeks, I'm doing a speaking gig actually on that. One of the topics is my book,
Okay.
and it's 5 minutes from my daughter, and it couldn't have worked out better. And so I get to go over there and do this speaking gig for a week, and then I'll go spend time with my oldest daughter, and then my youngest daughter graduates college. And so all of this comes back to, it all comes back full circle. So it's kind of cool. But so those are the things. I mean, the thing that really inspires me is really getting out there and contributing to people and watching them succeed. And I've had success in my life and my career, and it's not that I'm done with it. I'm not, but I get so much from helping someone else succeed. And I want people to be better than than I was back in the day, right? And I had a good career. I had a healthy career, and it's not over. But when I was doing heating and air, I sold millions of dollars worth of heating and air every year. So I did it fairly well. I wasn't the best, but I wasn't the worst. I was above average. And
Okay.
so I'm taking those principles and the things that I've learned and passing those on to help people be the 2, 3 million, $4 million salesperson a year.
Okay. Okay. And so we're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but it would not be fair to have a salesperson here, someone who can really help us, because there are those of us who understand how to write a book or to do our speech, or we've got this widget that we've made and it's great, but we struggle with that four-letter word sell. We just, I know when I first started, if you had asked me, say 2 or 3 years ago, can I do sales? I go, no, I know I have to, but I can't do sales. I thank God I've gotten over that. I realize that mostly what I personally do is share information with people and then tell them how they can, you want to know about Chris's book, you heard about his book, this is how you can get it. I'm not selling, I'm sharing information with you, but there's still a lot of people hung up on that word. Help us with an easier way of doing sales.
I think the easiest thing, the thing that frustrates probably you and everybody else is the objections and getting no, getting rejected, right? And that's the thing that frustrates people the most. And so learning how to overcome that before it becomes an objection, right? How do I overcome the price objection? If you build enough value in people's eyes, and it has to be in their eyes and not your eyes, you can build all the value you want in your eyes, and it doesn't mean a doggone thing to them. Find out what is valuable to them, what's important. Ask them these questions, right? What's important to you? What is it that you think my product or my service will be able to give to you, and how will it enhance what you're doing? When you ask these things, then you can match up what you know, like, and just love to do with what they need. And when you do those things, you're going to meet their needs, and you'll be able to build value upon that. And then this is one thing that I try and teach all my clients is when you build all that and you talk about all the wonderful things that you do and you match that up with what they're going to do, then you say this phrase, and can you believe that I only charge for
I
this?
love it. I love it. I love it.
And the cool thing is it's not some super psychological thing, but when you hear that, you go, wow, yeah, I that is hard to believe. You only charge that much for this. And it is amazing how people will respond to that. But it really does. If you truly believe that you're only charging this, you're only charging $1,000 for something that's worth 1,500 or 2,000 or whatever, right? But I was I was somewhere yesterday. Diva, you were there too. We were in this conference or this forum yesterday, and had a lady there. She's a coach, and she's doing all these things. And she goes, "Yeah, I give people three options, and guess which one they always choose?" I said, "The middle one." She goes, "No, they always choose the top one." And I stopped her and I said, "You're not charging enough." And she goes, "Ah, I heard people say that." And I said, "Yep. And here's the problem: is if you're not charging enough, you're giving yourself away." And I said, "Give them more options, but it's going to be a stretch. And stop spending people's money." That's the other one. Stop spending people's money.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
the key there is people go, "Well, I don't think people are gonna pay $25 for a book." Yeah, they will. You know what? There was a book. There was a book. I was talking with other coaches the other day. We were talking about a book the other day that was how to properly price your consulting business. How
And how
much would
much
you
was the book?
how much would you pay for that, right? How much? Well, $25, right? $30. I got it on sale for 65.
Okay.
On
Okay.
sale for 65. And I'm
Okay.
thinking, wait a minute, how many pages is this book? Right?
Well,
It
now
does.
if the person is good, if the information is valuable, Yes, but that goes
Absolutely.
back to what you talked about with value. You
Yeah.
got to be, yeah, would I spend $60 for a book that was going to teach me how to generate another $100,000 or
Right.
whatever? Yeah, I would. But if I spend $60 and you can't bring, you don't deliver, oh, we got a
Right.
problem.
But I think our initial reaction, right? Our initial reaction to something like that is, ooh, that's a lot of money. But to your point, are we asking the right questions? If I can generate $100 with this, okay, has it paid for itself? Yeah, it has. Is it what I wanted?
Yes,
Probably not. But I would like it to produce, 10, 20, 100 times what it came back to me. And you know what? Your clients are doing the same thing with you.
absolutely.
So they're
Absolutely.
thinking, hey, if I'm going to spend 1,500, 2,000, $5,000 a month with this person, I better see the revenue. I better see that tenfold, right? I better see that at least two times, if not three or five or 10 times, right? And we're all about this 10x, right? Everything's 10x, 10x this, 10x. Who cares about 10x? Here's what I care about. Is it giving you the return that you're looking for? Is it giving you
Right.
more than what you're paying for? Because if it is, it's worth it. If it's not worth it. And you've got to ask yourself that question. If you're charging $5,000 a month for the clients to work with you, that's awesome. But are you producing that kind of revenue for them? Are you helping them to get that kind of revenue? So,
Yeah,
to,
one of my favorite questions I ask potential clients is, what do you need to happen within this time frame to make this a success for you? And based on what they say, that lets me know whether or not I'm the person to help you or someone else.
yeah, good point.
If you're telling me that you want to earn $100,000 at the end of 6 months, and I ask you, what did you earn last 6 months, and you tell me $25, oh, we got to disconnect, and you're not the person that I can work with. But if you
Yeah,
say, you know what, I got to that 50,000 mark and I can't break it, and if we can do that in 6 months, then yeah, I'm your girl. Let's make that
right.
happen. Yeah. Yeah, so real interesting. Okay, so that I wanted people to know why I love Coach Chris so much. So now they got a chance to hear a little bit of it. Let's go back and talk about the book though.
Hmm.
In writing your book, what was the, because again, I'm wanting people, everyone should write a book. If you
Hmm.
haven't written your first book yet, you need to reach out to me because I want to be sure that you get that done. So, in writing your book, what was the thing that you enjoyed? I want to hear too. The thing you enjoyed the most about the process that you went
Okay.
through, and the thing you enjoyed the least about the process.
Okay. The thing that I enjoyed the most, I think, was when it was all finished and in really pulling this all together. And I printed it out because I wanted it printed out, right? Because I'm that tactile type of person. I like to touch it. And so when I printed it out, it was, I mean, that thick, and I wanted to put it in a binder. And then I started going through and highlighting all the errors that I made. And I'm like, oh gosh. And that's the least favorite thing that I had, which was the editing process. And I had people edit it, right? I had people look at it and do these things. But it's like every time I picked it up, there was one more thing. There's one more thing. And I'll tell you right now, Diva, I'm just gonna tell you right now, there's probably an error or two or three or 10 in there, right?
Absolutely.
And that's I again, the serial perfectionist in me was like, oh my gosh, now I've got to. And I was like, nope. You know what? Here's the thing. I did the best that I could with what I had at the time. And so if I need to make revisions, I'll make revisions. But the editing process was a real challenge for me because I have a critical eye, I will tend to I can pick this thing apart 6 ways from Sunday, literally. So that was the most challenging part, but the my most favorite part of it was finishing it. And then I started using it as soon as I finished it. I started using it that really that week. I started reading it as a PDF, right? And I started, because I read these kind of books on a daily basis. I've got now four or more of these that I read on a regular basis. And so every morning, get up and I thumb through them and okay, what's today? Today's April 20th. Okay, I know what today is. So actually, here's an Easter egg. Here's a little Easter egg for everybody if you're listening to this. So there are Easter eggs throughout my book. Okay, for those of you who don't know what an Easter egg is, it's basically it's a little hidden gem, and it may not mean anything to you, but it means something to me. And so
Okay.
here's one of the Easter eggs. I don't know how many there are. There's a bunch of them, but here's one. One is today, April 20th. The entry for today is about passion. Okay,
Mhm.
that was the very first entry that I wrote. That was the very first thing that I wrote was about passion,
Okay.
and I used
Okay.
an entry from. I used quotes, so I used a quote from Simon Sinek, and he talked about passion and that kind of stuff. But yeah,
Wow, wow, wow. Okay, because and I was laughing. I'm gonna take you back to the mistakes or the
yeah,
things that you
yeah,
will fix next time. That's another thing that I talk to people about. My favorite author, who unfortunately left this world last year, I think it was, um, is a was a New York bestseller and a legitimate one, not one who paid or did the
right,
funny stuff.
right.
Legitimate, and I would tease him because with all of the people that he had, the editors and the publishers and all that, and he was with one of the big publishing houses. I said, there's a mistake in your book. He goes, yeah, I know. I'm like, how is it you have all those people look at your book and there's still, there's a grammatical error, there's a
Yeah,
misspelling, and it just reminds us that we were human. And what it really meant for me was that when I first started publishing books, my own, and I'd have a mistake in it, it would be okay, I'm still human. It gives me the opportunity to be at an event and say, the first person who finds the mistake gets a
gets a free copy.
prize.
Gets a free copy. There you go.
Yeah, so we start making up things and having people because we're human and it's okay for us to make mistakes and
Yeah,
nobody expects us to be perfect but we ourselves, and knowing that we're not, and yet it allows us to go on because so many people get paralyzed by perfection. And oh, you're one of those.
I
Okay.
was, I
Yeah.
was. I'm a recovering, serial perfectionist. No, and it's still struggle from time to time, but yeah, it used to paralyze me, and that was one of the critiques that I got from a former boss and their boss was he just needs to move forward. He gets way too deep in the weeds, and I think about things 6 ways from Sunday, as we said before, but I get to that point where I'm just like, I can analyze this to death and go, okay, now here's the perfect way. Oh, wait, here's the perfect. Oh, wait, here's the perfect. And it's, yeah, it's maddening.
Okay, and I'm just the opposite. The faster, the quicker we can get it done. Hey, let's get it done.
She's
You
like, good
alluded to
enough.
the
We're out.
meeting.
Good.
Good enough for government work. Okay, I'm a retired state
Here
employee.
we go. Here we
Good
go.
enough for government work. Okay,
Oh
it
my.
is like, and as such, when I'm proofreading something, I fill in the words that aren't there. You know how they have those
Yeah,
memes on social media? If you can read this and it's backward and upside down, I can read all that
I can
stuff.
read all that too. Yeah.
Yeah, because my mind puts it there. So
Yeah.
when I'm reading, particularly my own things, I know what it's supposed to say. It may not have all the letters, but I
Right.
got it. And I'm so yes, yes, yes. But I
Yeah.
say all that to say that I want people telling their stories, that you don't have to be perfect. I
Hmm.
hope this is the first of many books for you, that this
Yeah.
isn't
Thank
where
you.
you stop, that you continue to go on because you have a lot to offer the world.
Well,
And
thank you.
you know, that's what we're here for. There are things that we're supposed to say, there are things that we're supposed to help people do.
Yeah.
And if we get so caught up in it having to be perfect, it's like the
Yeah.
podcast. If I've got
Mhm.
to edit it and reframe it, I'm not a television station and I have no desire to be.
Right.
Okay. I noticed while we were talking, one of my neighbors went by making a bunch of noise. I'm like, okay, that got picked up by this fancy microphone. But it is, that's how life is. And as people are trying to go ahead and do their businesses or write their books or do their speeches, stuff is going to happen.
Hmm.
Work through it, keep going. That's what makes us who we are.
Right.
I'm just like, awesome. So, once again, tell us how people get your book and
Yes,
your
sir.
preferred method of them getting it.
Well, the preferred method would be to go to theredchair.com and they can buy a hand signed and personalized autographed book that would be the preferred way. And it's PayPal and that kind of stuff. You can do it on my website. Credit card doesn't matter. The other is you can go to Amazon, and Amazon will ship worldwide. So if you're outside of the United States and you're listening to this, please know that that's the way you have to go. I mean, you don't want to pay $25 to $35 for shipping. So please don't. But
Please, I know.
no, I mean, I'll do it, but don't do that.
Yes, because we want people to be prudent. We want people to
Right.
do what they do.
Well, and
Okay,
here's
so uh-huh,
one.
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, real quick. So two other things. The digital copy is going to be coming out, but it won't be available until about June. I think it is the release date on that is June 1. So if you're a Kindle person or that kind of thing, you can get that copy in June. And then I am currently in process of doing the Audible version. So
Yay. Yay.
we'll be putting
Okay,
that together
catching
and end of the
all the
year.
people, yes, and
Yeah.
the way they do stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like really happy. I love technology. I always say when it works well. But what I like is that it has allowed all of us to break in wherever we want to be. And that's really what I work with my clients, helping them to understand we have the technology. If you want to run a television show, run a television show. You want a radio show, do that.
Yeah.
There's technology that makes all that possible. And believe it or not, we've done more than 30 minutes already,
Oh,
so we're going to wrap it up. But I want to give you an opportunity to say anything that we didn't cover because we kind of went around the bush. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
no, my biggest hope for this book, and it's in the introduction. Don't When you pick it up, don't forget to read the introduction, and the next page is the red chair and where it came from. So all the details are there about the red chair and where it came from and what inspired that. So I would encourage you to do that, read that. But my hope for the book is that it inspires you. And if it inspires you to write a book, great. If it inspires you to start your company, great. If it inspires you to get up out of bed today, great. It's an inspiration, and hopefully you'll find inspiration in it today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I want to thank you, Coach Chris, for joining me today. Again, you guys, this is Deborah Thorne, the Information Diva, and we have been spending time with Coach Chris. And let's talk leverage, an offshoot of the Leverage Conference for speakers, authors, and entrepreneurs in its fourth year, happening November 10, 11, and 12. So until next time, this is the Information Diva and Coach Chris telling you we'll talk to you again soon. Bye bye.
Bye now.